Hey guys, I'm back with a little update with some progress. Sorry it took a while because there wasn't really any big new updates to share. Alpha's been busy writing. I was busy preparing the artwork updates, and now there's some stuff to show. So the reason I'm doing a video is that I wanted to show you a little bit behind the scenes impression of how these decks are made. So let's jump right in. Um, the writing takes place in Google Drive, and the card sets are made in Adobe InDesign, which is usually used to make page layouts like book layouts or brochures or whatever. Um, but using the pages here on the right, you can as easily make a card set instead of a book. So the actual contents are sort of, let's say, assembled in Adobe InDesign, and I use Photoshop to create the graphics that are used. And so the textual contents are coming from Google Drive or Google Docs, whatever it's called these days. Um, and one of the cool things I wanted to show you is the way I used to work in the past was, you hire a writer and then they do their thing and they send you a document like, here's the writing, this is what I've done. And I would need to copy paste. I'll grab a text document, I'll copy the text and paste it into my book file, and there you go. So there was always a lot of manual work involved in getting the written materials, copying them, pasting them into my document, and then selecting said text and applying like paragraph styles, character styles to make it all look uh, good. So you can imagine with like 50 cards or a 100-page book, with each revision the writer sends, this is a lot of manual work and going back and forth, looking what's been changed in the written materials and copy pasting it over, applying the text styles again. So at one point, it really drove me nuts. So I thought like there's got to be something better for this, right? Excuse me, excuse my hair, excuse my beard. So yeah, I started looking, and apparently InDesign doesn't really have a sort of native, very good solution for this. So I looked for third-party solutions, and I found this paid professional plugin that links Word or Google document files, links it to your InDesign, and then whenever something changes here in InDesign, you will see like this little exclamation thingy, like, hey, the document, the linked document updated. Do you want to, pull in the new contents? So yes, I do. So I'll double click it, and then it will start, fetching the latest version of the writing and puts it into my already created document while retaining all of the applied styles. So let's go in and do a little sample of that. So for example, let's just change something here like testing broadcasting, and we will wait for Google Drive to save. Go back to InDesign, and it noticed that the Drive document changed, so I'll double click and we'll fetch the contents, and voila. So now it updated my contents. So again, this may look, may sound trivial, but again, working uh, on a big book, or especially with these card sets, we go through a lot of revisions from writing the initial materials to really going into the nitty gritty and, changing the combinations within the cards and perfecting all of the grammar. So I think with the fantasy sets, we easily had like 10 different revisions of the sets before calling it final. So imagine all of that time I would have to manually copy paste over the changes from what I get from the writer back into my design software. So, it saves a lot of time. And the other cool thing I like about Google Drive is that you can easily collaborate. So, what if I hire 3 writers or have a whole community collaborating on something? I could share the document, and whatever changes here, I immediately get. So I'm in the Netherlands, and usually my writers are from the States, or at least there's a time difference. So when I wake up here, I boot up my computer, then I see, an exclamation mark, because overnight the writers would have worked on the materials, they did their thing, and then when I wake up, I just have to double click and boom, get all the contents right in my book or whatever it is I'm working on. So another thing that I wanted to automate is, as you can see, a card is made of a card front, which basically, I'm not sure how well this shows up, but it has a text frame for the top and a text frame for the bottom. And these are threaded together. So basically, text that overflows, that doesn't fit in the top frame, flows into the second frame, into the third frame, and so on. So that way, I've linked all of my cards, all of the text frames are threaded together. So that long Google Drive document with all 400 card entries flows from card to card to card. So another thing I wanted to automate is the alternating black and white text. So again, I just don't like doing stupid manual grunt work. So selecting and then going like, this needs to be white text instead of black. I just don't like doing that over and over again. So in that plugin that fetches the content for me, you can set a number of things. For example, you can say, get rid of empty lines, but if it's normal text, then apply the following style to it, or if it's a title, then make it a title. And one of the things that I use to alternate the black and the white text is use a character style. So when it's bold, I tell it to make it white text. So now what happens is, for example, here you can see it fetched the content from Google Drive. It put it, across all of my cards here, but it's all black text. So the way that I did it is I count like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the next 4 are bold. So I make it bold, and then let's see, another 4 bold. I could make this a numbered list so it's easier for me to see the pairs. So black text, white text, black text, white text. So the changes are saved. It shows up here in a second. I double click, and then it should map the styles that I told it to, and it does nicely. So this is bold in Google Drive, and it tells it to use the white text style here instead of the normal one. And you can see it did it for all of the ones that I fixed in Google Drive. So there you go. So for this set, I still need to go through all of them to set the bold styles. I'm also going to have, a very close look at all of the entries. Do I like the combinations? Are there possibly better combinations if I move a few entries around? And this can take anywhere from a couple of weeks to a month to really perfect all of the cards. And I will go into look at a card in my mind, try and make as many combinations on the card, and if things really don't make sense or just odd together, I move one to another card until all of the cards make as many great combinations as possible.